we've got a triangle here that's not right-angled, and we're being asked to work out a length in it. So this is non-right-angled trigonometry. There's two methods for doing this. When you have two sides and an angle, you can use the cosine rule to find the other side. Normally, when you first learn about it, you find the side that's opposite the angle, though, and here we don't, so it will be a bit more complicated. I'm going to do that as a second method. First method I'm going to use to solve this problem is the sine rule. Because I've got an angle side pair, I can work out this angle here, B. And that actually, that doesn't immediately get me AB, but it then, if I know this angle, I then know this angle, and from that I can use a sine rule again. So the first method is going to be to use a sine rule twice. So I can write down that I'm going to label this little b, this little a, and this little c. So it must be that b, hold on, I'm trying to find the angle, aren't I? So sine, put the angle at the top, sine b over b is equal to sine a over little a. I'm not interested in using c for the moment, so I'm just going to leave that out of the sine rule. Therefore, sine b over 48 equals sine a, which is 53, over 85. And I can write down that sine b is 48 sine 53 over 85. So 0.4509 so b is the inverse sine of that, 26.807. And therefore, c is going to be 180 minus 53 minus 26.807. I can use the answer button because that was stored a minute ago. 100.192. Right, that's good. That is that angle there, and that means I can use the sine rule a second time. So now I can say that c, which is what I want, divided by sine c, I'm just going to go straight to it, 100.192 is going to equal one of the other ones. Now I would use the one that was given to me in the question rather than using the capital B that I calculated. That's like, you know, I have to round it somewhere. Just use the other one. So it's going to be a little a over sine capital A. And notice I've swapped it round, so I've now got the side on the top. That's always just good practice, so it just eliminates the need to rearrange. And therefore C is going to be this over this. Again, I can just use the answer button, and we get 104.751. I don't know why I was doubting myself for a minute that was correct, but it looks all right. And we'll round it to three significant figures, so 105 millimeters. Okay, I'm going to go through this a second way now. That was quite involved, I know, already, but let's do it a second way. It's good to look at maths problems in multiple ways. You know, maybe this is the avenue that you went down because you spotted there were two sides known and an angle known, but maybe you got it right from there, or maybe you got into difficulties. Okay, I'm going to talk about it. So I can instead use the cosine rule and write down that c squared is a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cos capital C. Now I must relabel this. So this is capital C and this is lowercase c. And I'll call the one that I want to find now B, and then this will be A. And that'll be capital A, and that'll be capital B. I'm not actually interested in those. I won't be using those. So I can write down 85 squared is equal to A squared, 48 squared, plus B squared, minus 2 times 48 times B times cos 53. And I get an equation straight away for B. That's the advantage of this, instead of having to do it twice. The disadvantage is that I've got a quadratic in B. So first things first, I would do 85 squared minus 48 squared. (4921). So I'm just going to sort that bit out. And then I'm going to get B squared minus, and then I'm going to work out what 2 times 48 times cos of 53 is. And I get 57.774. B. And I can rearrange that into a quadratic. B squared minus 57.774 B minus 4921 equals 0. I'm just going to replace it by x, because it's quite confusing when you have the quadratic formula, which involves a, b, and c, to then have your unknown as, or the thing you're trying to find as b as well. So we've got a here, we've got b here, and we've got c here. So x is minus b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac, all square rooted over 2a. We've got a double negative here, so it's just going to become 57.774. Notice I'm using it to 5 significant figures roughly. I don't know if this is actually rounded. I'm just 5 figures. I'm going to round it ultimately to 3. So it's enough. I've got enough accuracy going on. Okay, and I've got a minus here, but when I square it, it doesn't matter. So I've just written it like that. Minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is a negative. All over 2. I can actually use the exact answer, I've just realised there. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that because I want to include the minus in a minute. It's going to be a double negative, so it's just going to become plus 4 times 4921 over 2. And I get 104.75. Which would again is the same as before and would round to 105. So I've shown you a second method. I would advise you use this first method. I think it's much easier to make mistakes in this method, but it does work, and maybe you prefer it. Technically, we should just work out the negative answer and then reject it. minus 46.97. But it has to be a positive because it's a length. So we would go with this one and round it to 105. Okay, well done if you've made it to the end of this video. I know I've talked for quite a long time. Two different methods, both good, both have their advantages and disadvantages. I think this one wins it overall for me. Okay, well done.